hello from Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm ABC's Brad Mielke. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Martin O'Malley. These are the Democratic candidates you probably know. But in New Hampshire, there are more than a dozen running, and we're meeting some of them today. Some of these fringe candidates you've never heard of making their way across New Hampshire, where all you need is $1,000 and to sign on the dotted line, and you're running for president. We're going to turn to one of those candidates right now. We are speaking with none other than Vermin Supreme, who's a performance artist and a perennial candidate who's also wearing a boot on his head. Vermin, how are you?
I am fine. Performance artist says you, but I'll take it. Hi, I'm Vermin Supreme. I'm running for President of America. That's where we are right now, in case you were wondering. And if you are an American, or other for that matter, and happen to have the opportunity to vote, I would certainly appreciate your consideration this election year up here in New Hampshire, where the first in the nation primary is. New Hampshire voters are very, very important to me. Far more important pretty much than any other darn state. Sorry, all you other states. But when it gets right down to it, this is the ballot, this is where I'm on, and this is where the opportunity where you can vote for me. Now, don't forget, you can actually monetize your love for me. You can send your campaign donations to verminsupreme2016@gmail.com. I am a 527, Vermin Supreme 2016.
And so let me ask you this, Vermin. What is your campaign platform? And while I ask you, I'm just going to turn the camera around so we can of what we're dealing with here. So we got the boot on your head. We got several.
Correct.
You're wearing several ties. You've got a cape, I believe.
Yes, I do.
So what's your campaign platform?
Once again, of course, my platform rests on 4 basic platform planks. They are as follows. Number 1, mandatory toothbrushing laws. That's right, friend. Gingivitis has been eroding the gum line of this great nation of ours for long enough and must be stopped. For too long, this country has been suffering a great moral and oral decay in spirit and in incisors. A country's future depends on its ability to bite back. We can no longer be a nation indentured. So join me as we cross over into the bridgework of the 23rd century.
And Vermin, can I ask you, what's over here? What do you have over here?
Over there? Well,
yeah.
that's my
This is your setup as we get ready to undergo a town hall. This is a what?
Well, once again, of course, one of my other platform planks consists of free ponies for all Americans.
Free ponies for all Americans.
Free ponies for all Americans. It is a federal pony identification system. You must have your pony with you at all times. This is, of course, just a sample. This is an example of a pony. It's obviously not a real pony.
Vermin, I got to follow up. How are you going to pay for a pony for every American?
Once again, of course, as I have stated previously, it is an absolutely free pony program. It doesn't cost you a dime. Absolutely free. Gratis.
And as I turn... So, you know, you've been going around the campaign trail, you have your pony, you have your boot. Right now, you know, not a ton of registration in the polls. Not a lot of people say they will vote for you right now. So why do it? Why run against these other Democrats?
I will crush Martin O'Malley. Be there no mistake about it. He is polling at approximately 1% with a margin of error of probably 0.5%, sir. If I were to be included in the polls, I have no doubt that I would be able to beat 0.5%, a margin of error. In fact, the fact that D's Nuts took 19% of the polls that he was included in tends to bolster my argument, sir.
All right. Well, so there you have it. Vermin Supreme, Democratic candidate for president. He's from Massachusetts, but he's up here in New Hampshire, where, of course, it's easier to get on the ballot. There's several Democrats in the race, and he will be speaking now to a crowd assembled at this is in Manchester, New Hampshire. This is the New Hampshire Primary Student Convention, where we have hundreds of students gathered here throughout the week. They've seen many, many candidates. In fact, I want to see if we can talk to some of those students right now. So I want to bring in some of our student organizers here. This is Tyler and Christopher over here. So guys, what are we doing here this week?
Well, we have people from all over the country showing up just to come hear what the people speak, hear what the candidates have to offer, and see how the whole thing works.
Have they all had boots on their head? I mean, who has been coming here?
We've had Senator Sanders, we've had Senator Rand Paul, we've also had Governor from New Jersey, Chris Christie, we've had Howard Dean as a surrogate for Hillary Clinton, and we've had a couple others as well. So basically they've come and they've interacted with the audience, and it's just kind of a good way to show civic engagement and get people involved here and see what the First Nation primary is like up in New Hampshire.
And let me ask you guys, what are, students are here, a lot of these are even under voting age. what can these candidates possibly hope to get out of this as they come? How do you guys sell them on even showing up to this in the first place?
Well, the first point of this whole thing is to get people engaged and ready for their time to participate. Even though some of the people coming here are not voting age yet, they will be soon, and they will be the future of this country. So being here and starting now is a great way to inspire kids.
All right, well, there you have it. Those are some of the student organizers from New England College that put this entire event on. And I want to go right now to actually, those are college students, but I want to go to our youngest participant of the week. This is Daniel Russell. Daniel, how old are you?
13.
You're 13 years old. What made you come to this, nerdy political conference to see all these political candidates?
I love politics, and I've liked them for a long time. Ever since I've loved history, and that made me like politics. So it's a good way to get off of school too. So I thought I'd come to this convention.
Got it. And so what have you seen this week? I mean, have you seen any of these candidates before? We're talking about Bernie Sanders and Rand Paul. Have you seen these guys before?
I've seen all of the Republican candidates, none of the Democratic candidates before.
And so what have you thought so far, seeing these people in person? What's it like?
I think it's much better than seeing them on TV. They're much different. When you see them on TV, like Carly Fiorina she's more stiff on TV, and she was very nice and informative when she was here yesterday.
I see. So you really get the sense of what these candidates are about, sort of their personality. Well, then I have to ask you then, who's the Daniel Russell endorsement going to? Do you know who you're going to vote for yet, if you had to throw your support behind someone?
If I could vote, I would vote for Ted Cruz.
You vote for Ted Cruz?
Yes.
Who we have not seen here this week. Does that knock him down in your estimation?
Nope, not at all.
All right, well, so Daniel Russell, the youngest political nerd out of many here at this conference. Soon he'll be catching up to all of us that, do this for a living, I'm sure. And I want to go right now to some high school students that have actually traveled from Maine over to this New Hampshire Primary Student Convention. Now, what's your name?
Jillian.
Jillian. Let me calm down my camera here. And so, Jillian, what brought you here today?
It's my AP government trip here.
And so, what's been going on this week? Take me through sort of what the week has been like. You've been meeting with candidates, but also some other speakers who have come through, right?
Yeah, so there's been sessions, and they have a panel, and they speak about some issues. I listened to one about climate change and how we can, improve the environment and fix, the earth heating up.
And so, of the candidates who have come, who's impressed you so far?
Carly Fiorina, I really liked her.
Got it. And so, are you going to be voting in this next election then?
I will be, yes.
So this should be your first vote.
Yes.
And so you find yourself sort of on the Republican side. Then who else has been on your list then? Who else has really impressed you besides Carly Fiorina?
Marco Rubio. And I wasn't a big fan of Christie, but then I heard him speak here, and he was very impressive.
All right. Well, so there you go. And by the way, coming all the way from Maine, how far did you have to come to be here?
An hour and a half.
Was it worth it?
Yes, I definitely think so.
All right. Well, there you go. So
Thank
that's
you.
one of the students here from her AP government class. Let's go to somebody who's in the same class, actually, but tells me she disagrees with with one of her classmates here. Now, this is Hadley. Hadley, who do you think you're going to be voting for this time around?
I think I'm probably going to be voting for either Hillary or Bernie. I think it really depends who gets the Democratic nomination.
Okay, got it. And so, what's it like as you guys come here? There's a couple dozen of you here at this event. Do you guys just go home to your hotel and talk politics every night? I mean, this must be kind of crazy.
Yeah. Usually politics is a pretty touchy subject with students specifically because so many of us, like Jill and I specifically, have very different views, and so we try to avoid talking about it because we don't want to upset people, and it can end friendships, and there's stuff like that.
Jill, has that ended your friendship?
No. No.
And so, as a student, what have Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton said that has sort of made an impact on you? What are you looking for your next presidential candidate?
For Bernie, it's definitely really big with the education system, especially because right now our entire class is going into their freshman year of college, and paying for college is such a terrifying concept. I don't want to get out of college with $60,000, $70,000 in debt because I don't know if going to a private university would be worth that. And then even with the public university, even with University of Maine, it's $10,000 a year in-state, but I still can't pay for that myself. So I think Bernie Sanders' idea of making public universities free would be really phenomenal for, I think, everyone in our generation specifically and in future ones. And I think for Hillary, it would just be really incredible to see a woman president. And as much as I would like to be able to say that I could vote for Carly Fiorina because she is a woman, I really don't agree with her views, and I think, frankly, that she's not doing a great job at representing the female population.
Well, so there you go. So two very different viewpoints in one high school AP government class who have come up here to the New Hampshire Student Convention. And by the way, since you guys are from Maine, your primary is not for a while. What's it been like to be here in New Hampshire as things just get absolutely out of control? So many candidates on the trail. What's the atmosphere here like compared to where you're from?
The atmosphere here is definitely a lot more charged. People are way more interested in it. They're much more involved. And I don't even think candidates, they don't usually come to Maine. I think Hillary was in Maine in September, but she only went to, like, I think it was South Portland High School, and she only talked to those kids who were there, and you couldn't go and talk to her in other places. And it was just, it's definitely, people aren't as motivated, they aren't as involved, they aren't as interested. People don't know as much of what's going on. I've talked to a couple friends who don't even know who some of the candidates are, and it's just like, for our AP government class, we're very involved, but it feels like a lot of people aren't.
All right, well, Hadley, thank you so much. And we are just getting ready for Vermin Supreme's Town Hall. Every candidate who's visited has gotten to speak with the students, field questions from the students. Ben Carson actually Skyped in earlier today as sort of a surprise half hour. And right now, you can see Vermin Supreme heading to the stage, getting ready to answer some questions. And Vermin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
And we will have lots more from the trail in New Hampshire, where, as you can see, anything is possible. For now, I'm ABC's Brad Mielke.